Hello and welcome to Spiritual Fertility. I am your host, Alison Bucklin, and it is my honor, privilege, and pleasure to be here sharing this message with you today. This episode is meant to be a solo one where I am going to share one of the tools that has helped me in my spiritual journey. Before I do begin, I want to take this opportunity to thank each of you who has been brought here to listen to my message, to spiritual fertility, to the message of the guests that I've had here. And I want to thank you for being here and invite you to listen in with an open heart and mind as you learn about a tool that maybe can help you in your journey. And before I start sharing on this amazing tool, I want to take a moment to ground my here and now, to block out any and all interference across time, space, planes, lives, dimensions, and all levels of consciousness, so that what comes through to you is of the highest love and light and is transmitted so that you can feel and understand and hear what I am sharing. Now, as you are listening to this, I want you to be mindful of what is going through your mind and what you're feeling in your heart, because there can be voices that speak to us from fear and from shame and doubt or guilt that can be like your ego. But also there is that voice of your intuition, those whispers of, this sounds wonderful. Maybe this is meant for me. Oh, that is exactly what I need to hear and now. And sometimes when I hear messages that inspire and motivate and uplift me, I have this inner knowing that it is something that I need to pay attention to, or something that clicks in my mind that I know is something that is helping me in my journey. And I hope you'll do the same. So thanks for being here again. Today I'm going to talk about a really cool tool that is your birth chart. Now, before I even started exploring my birth chart and really leaning into astrology, and I actually would look at people's maybe profile or hear them talk about maybe their moon sign or their ascendant sign or north node or all of these terms and topics that I didn't know anything about. But I remained curious, and in my alignment of my core value of curiosity, so I kept digging and looking in. And I found an awesome channel, YouTube channel and teacher who I've taken some courses from and also have watched tons of her videos. And this is kind of where I've gathered most of my information and intuitive knowledge that has helped me in my journey. And so I'll share the link to the YouTube channel. It's called Soulful Revolution. Her name is MJ, and she shares daily messages with tarot cards. And I've just, in listening to that, have learned so much about myself and what these signs mean for me and my journey. And so I invite you to listen to her channel. And so when I started leaning in to understand my birth chart a little bit more, I started with pulling my birth chart. So really, what is your birth chart? And we may have heard like horoscopes, right? And I used to lean into, I know that my sign is a Leo, okay? And I've always read horoscopes on Leo, and I know kind of aspects of the personality of a Leo. But what I came to understand is there is so much more. Leo is just my sun sign, but there are many other signs that we can lean into and give us guidance on, and our birth chart helps us do that. So what is your birth chart? So your birth chart is a snapshot of the sky at the moment of your birth. So it's a picture of what was in the sky at the moment of your birth based on where you were born, the date that you were born, and the time that you were born. Now, I have, if you're watching this on YouTube, I have a snapshot of my birth chart as the background of this video. And so that it looks like a lot of like lines and symbols and numbers, but it's kind of simple once you start leaning into it. So this birth chart is from Astro Charts, and That's astro-charts.com, and you can get your free birth chart from there. And so, an accurate birth chart depends on accurate information because the ascendant or rising sign changes every 2 hours or so. And so, if there's no birth time that exists on your birth certificate, or you don't know that, you can start with noon as your time of birth and kind of reverse engineer that, start from there. And so you'll find as you read this or hear this information and start studying your birth chart, there'll be certain things that stick that you're like, wow, that's an aspect of my personality that is so true. And it really does give you a roadmap to your personality. This is one aspect that can help you, really give you that self-awareness that you may be looking for. And I truly believe that self-awareness is just this, it's such an impactful tool to help you understand who you are, where you're going, why you're here, give you that roadmap to really help you understand yourself more. And so not only does it help you with your personality, but also kind of give you clues as to obstacles in your life and then any gifts that you have. And so it's actually, astrology itself is actually an art form and it's quite subjective. And so, just kind of lean into listening to these things as you discover more about your birth chart. So, let's see. I'm kind of going through some notes here and things that I want to start with. So, what's on the chart itself when you see this chart? And so, a chart consists of zodiac signs that are around the outside of your birth chart. And then on the inside are different houses that are numbered. And I'll talk about those in a little bit. And then inside of those houses are different planets. So where the different planets have different aspects that can tell you more about your personality, your obstacles, and your gifts. And so as we move in and exploring the birth chart, it's kind of cool to learn how to speak astrology and understand it more. And so the 12 houses that are on the inside of the chart, they represent set of traits in a particular area of your life. And I'll talk a little bit about the houses and the areas that they represent. The 12 signs that are on the outside of your chart correspond to different personalities and characteristics. So those are on the outside of your chart. And then the 10 planets plus the sun and the moon correspond to different mental mindsets and mind functions. So your mindset, your functions, ego and aggression. And in your chart, the planets are going to tell you what you are happening. The signs are going to tell you the how and the why, how your energy is expressed, why it's being expressed in a certain way. And the houses are going to tell you the area of life that this is happening in. And so when we get down to it, for simplicity purposes, I'm going to be talking just about a couple signs. The sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. And I'll also share how insights that I've gained and how this has applied to my life and helped me move forward and make intentional choices and decisions about where I am, where I'm going, who I'm with, what boundaries to exact in my life. So your sun sign, that's your ego personality, your identity, the essence of you, the core of who you are shining to the world. So I mentioned that I'm a Leo. Leos are out there. They don't have a problem getting in front of folks. And they're bright and shiny and loud and roaring. I think of like the Leo, the sun sign, like the lion. And so those are aspects of my personality that I've clung to that help me understand myself better. And my sun sign, I used to think that's all there was. But there is also the moon sign. And the moon sign is your emotional self, your inner self, your subconscious self, your sensitivity, heart, what will make you feel happy and fulfilled, what your heart is drawn to. Moon is also mind, what you think about that is your deepest heart's desire. My moon sign is actually a Sagittarius. So once I learned that, I started looking into the aspects of Sagittarius and how that related to me and my emotional and inner self. And it's a funny story because in listening to one of MJ's videos on Soulful Revolution, she talked about the moon sign, and if your moon sign was Sagittarius, kind of what that meant for you. Now, I've always kind of felt, or actually in my awakening journey, once I start to realize and get into myself deeper, I've felt this need or this desire or this like want to not be controlled. This, I felt like there's like this control in my life, and I've felt this desire to not be controlled. I like would get really like really defensive when I felt I was being controlled. Come to find out later, there's a lot more to that as I dig and understand myself more. But when I was listening to one of MJ's videos, she was saying how a Sagittarius moon sign can share that maybe in a past life, you were in some controlling situations, or that your subconscious mind has a lot of stored thoughts and beliefs in it that are all related to control. And I was like, oh, that's why I've felt this way. It was very validating for me. Your rising sign or your ascendant sign is your social personality, your mask that you show to the world, and how others perceive you. Your ascendant is also the things that you did not do in your last life that you must do in this life. So interesting to me. The signs, and each sign has their own kind of archetype. Now, I'm going to go through them now and share with you what those different archetypes are. And then we're going to tie it all together with like a sentence that you will then have to move forward and own. I'll share with you mine too. So if you have Aries in your chart, Aries is the warrior pioneer. Taurus is the builder provider. Gemini, the messenger. Cancer, the mother nurturer. Leo, the performer creator. Virgo, the sacred servant. Libra, the diplomat. Scorpio, the alchemist. Sagittarius, the explorer. Capricorn, the master ruler. Aquarius, the maverick. Pisces, the mystic. So how you can tie these different archetypes all together is really in a lovely sentence that will share who you are. And it goes like this: I am, and you would insert your sun sign archetype. I am with the soul of a moon sign archetype, wearing the mask of a ascendant sign archetype. So for me, my sun sign is a Leo, my moon sign is a Sagittarius, and my ascendant or rising sign is Capricorn. So I've plugged in the archetypes for those signs in my sentence. So I have, I am a creator with the soul of an explorer, wearing the mask of a master. And so I just sit with that for a bit. And once you plug in yours, you can sit with that for a bit and just see how it feels in your body and what comes up as you say that and learn that. I just love all of this. So in your chart, again, your birth chart, the planets will tell you the what, the signs tell you the how and why, and the houses tell you the area of life that this is happening in. So there's a couple other things that have impacted me that I want to mention here. So you have certain personal points and angles, and the one that I want to bring up to pay attention to that has immensely helped me is your North Node, okay? North Node and South Node. These are parts or nodes and angles of the moon as I understand it. So your South Node my south node is Taurus. The south node is the karma from past lives that I'm here to complete. So these are things that I've already mastered in past lives. So things that have taken place. So my north node, my north node is Scorpio. They're actually opposite. So Scorpio and Taurus are opposite signs. The north node is your work on this planet, what you're here to embrace, what you're here to learn and master in this lifetime, and the language that you're learning. And so for me, I am a North Node Scorpio. So then I went and started understanding more about Scorpio. And Scorpio is all about like transformation. It's like the darkness, being in the darkness, finding your way through and out, and kind of embracing those changes. It can be darkness. Scorpio is like the alchemist, the person that, or the aspect of a personality, because this is just one aspect. It's not all of me. So I know that by understanding my Scorpio North Node sign, that I am meant to, in this lifetime, my purpose is to move through transformational change and embrace it. That's what's validated for me. And actually, Spiritual Fertility, the podcast, is all about transformation, rebirth, and birthing new creations, moving through that awakening journey and kind of guiding others in their own journey. So my birth chart and understanding my birth chart had really validated for me that I'm on the right path and moving through and into my purpose through sharing this with you. And so that's just so much everything. So first of all, I want to also share that as you're understanding this and as you're being curious and leaning into it, just take what sticks and leave what doesn't. And that's okay, because it's stored. You can store it there. You can come back to it later. It may not sit with you now, but I invite you to just download your birth chart, start to understand it a little bit more, and kind of play with it. It's one aspect, one tool to bring you self-awareness in your journey. And astrology is something, a tool that I've leaned into. Numerology is another one. I'm going to share in a future episode a little bit about numerology. But before I do go, I want to talk a little bit about the houses, because the houses is just another aspect of a birth chart that when you look at your chart, the houses around the middle, you can see what sign falls into and rules that particular house, but also wherever the planets align, you can see if it's in alignment with that house, where you can kind of tie all this together in the specific area of your life. And so the houses correlate with areas of your life. Houses 1 through 6 are your internal, personal, and private areas of your life. Houses 7 through 12 are your interpersonal, public, and relational areas of your life. Your first house is you, your personal space, ego, your body. Second house, your material possessions, security, your family of origin, your values. Third house, the mind, thinking, communication, your local community, neighborhood, siblings, and early education. Fourth house, your roots, home, family, ancestors, mother, foundations. Fifth house, romance, love affairs, play, sex, children, fame, drama. Sixth house, health, fitness, your day job, service orientation, routines. Seventh house, your relationships, marriage, contracts, and partnerships. Eighth house, intimacy, shared finances, mystery, goals, death, sex, transformation, secrets, mysticism. Ninth house, travel, wisdom, culture, philosophy, higher education, fame. 10th house, career, long-term goals, status, reputation, father, masculinity. 11th house, groups, friends, hopes and wishes, society, humanity, technology. 12th house, the house of undoing, endings, psychic, mystics, alone, institution, jails, hospitals, endings, healing, closure, subconscious. So all of these different areas, your zodiac sign, your houses, the planets, it all kind of works together to give you an aspect of your past personality to help bring self-awareness into your life and to then use that information to make intentional decisions, to understand yourself better, to maybe understand kind of others in your life and how they work around you. Maybe running a birth chart for your spouse or for your child, to kind of see how that all works together and find out the different aspects of your personality. So, really, the intention for this episode, now that we're at the end of it, was to bring you another tool to give you that motivation or that kind of push or drive or information to you so that you can go and research your own birth chart, to go download it, to start reading it, to maybe understand. Maybe you didn't know what your moon sign or your rising sign were, to start there, to understand that there's more to you and your personality than your sun sign, right? And what you kind of show to the world. Thank you for joining me for this episode. I hope you found some value here. Please like, subscribe, and share with those in your life maybe who are looking to learn more about themselves, to be on this evolution path, this awakening journey, and to seek guidance in their own path.